Look, niggas,
we here, okay? What do you want from us?
How much more do you want from me? And we're back.
Hello, girls. We're back.
And we're back. We're back.
And we're back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Cha-cha-cha. Hey, y'all. It's your girl, Taylor.
And Toya.
This is the Heaux Bag. Be sure to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite streaming platform and follow us on Twitter and Instagram at _Heaux Bag. That's _HEAUXBAG. Keep up with our shenanigans. Bye.
Bye. We're talking about doulas and we're reporting live.
That's what I feel like.
Reporting live from AnyaDoula Oblemgada. AnyaDoula, how are you? Reporting live with AnyaDoula Oblemgada. AnyaDoula Oblemgada. It's 87 degrees and we're here live with AnyaDoula Oblemgada. Anya, are you here?
And we're back.
Medulla oblongata. What is that? What is that? What's a medulla oblongata? For real, because I don't know.
So your medulla oblongata is a part of the brain. It has nothing to do with what we're going to talk about today.
Oh, well.
Well, damn, what's a doula then?
What's a doula?
Me. No. So a doula is a support person for women who are pregnant. And I say women, but what I really mean is for the family, right? So the doula provides support in the way of educational support, making sure they understand what their options are, what the birth process looks like, what postpartum is going to look like afterwards. But we're also there to provide physical support during labor, emotional support, spiritual support for some doulas.
So you like a life coach? Because I've been looking for one, but not for a baby, just like to help me get through life.
Coach.
Oh,
yeah. Before we get too far in it,
stuff gets in there.
Can you tell everybody your handle and what you do? Because this is a crossover
my bad.
episode.
You know, LP was fucking up the production, so I kind of just had to start where we were at.
Just kidding.
Let's start all over, okay? So that was good news. We have Anya the doula, Anya who is a doula, on the Heaux Bag today,
and uses her medulla oblongata.
There we go.
To birth these babies. See how
that is. Bridging the gap.
You want to give them your handle so they can follow you too? She's also with the Creators Guild.
Yes, absolutely. So my doula IG page is at AnyaDoula _HTX. And my podcast, which is the Doing Motherhood podcast, is at doing _motherhood _podcast.
We'll write it in the caption.
Thank you.
So we got Twitter news.
Yes, this Twitter news is a little long, but only because I thought it was really, 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 really cool, educational and relevant. You know, usually I come with the bullshit, but this time I'm not.
I'm coming with it.
Basically, one of these ladies was saying, I can only speak for the company I'm working with. My total cost for a doula is $5,700. I hired her for all 3 phases, which I had no clue there was 3 phases in. The first is prenatal support. She came to appointments with me, was my advocate, had meetings to plan, gave me advice and support, etc. Second was sibling care. You know, you get what that is. If the sibling comes to the hospital, she helped to watch. And also with the C-section, only one person is allowed in the OR. So if her mom is there on time, she took turns watching the baby with her mom. And then third is postpartum. She was with them 10 hours during the day or night, depending on the schedule we set, 3 times a week. So during this time, she did whatever they needed her to do in terms of taking care of the baby and her. And that's the most expensive part, which was $27 an hour. That's really, really, really dope. I already have one kid and I'm like, I'm getting a midwife and a doula, postpartum, before, middle, all that.
So speak to, just because I don't have no kids, so why would you get one and why is it important like for somebody, an experienced mother, to have a doula?
So I had my baby in the hospital. I have an older sister. She had a midwife, but she still had the baby in the hospital. Once you really sit down and you consider the cost of everything, I'd rather freaking, hopefully my water breaks in the tub and I just birth the baby my damn self and look on YouTube and figure out how to do it. Because
Really?
the cost is out of this world
YouTube.
to have a kid. Luckily, I was a student at TSU when I got pregnant, so I was on, assistance and stuff like that, or I wouldn't have. Thank God for Medicaid. I would have had to pay so much money out of pocket had I had a regular job. So I know that having a doula, I do want to have birth, like my next birth, be in a bathtub, in a relaxing setting, because when I read up on it, it's more conducive for the child to come into the world in a world they already know, which is like liquid, right? Water form, I guess. So it's more, it eases the baby on out versus a stressful, atmosphere when they're coming out, plus epidural and all that. I'd rather have a natural birth if I can.
So quick question. Do you deliver babies? You catch them when they come out?
I don't catch the baby. No. So I'm gonna back us up and kind of start from the top. So the role of a doula is a support role.
Okay.
We're not medical, right? A midwife is a medical role. So a midwife would take the place of a physician.
Okay.
Right. So you're either choosing that you want to have a physician as your primary prenatal care provider and you're going that route, or you have a midwife. And as you pointed out, some midwives do work in hospitals, but a lot of midwives work in out of hospital settings.
Okay.
Whether that's a birth center or a home birth. So the midwife is who's going to be catching the baby, right? Just like a doctor would be catching the baby in the hospital. But the doula is there to be a support role. What a lot of people don't realize is that your doctor or your midwife is not there for most of your labor.
Oh, they come in
show
at the
up
end.
at the end.
I heard about that.
And so the doula is there to help you through those early stages, know what to do, how to facilitate, right? What to do with your body so that you're making this process continue to progress. And then later on is when the doctor or the midwife comes in.
Anytime I think about giving birth, I think about that one episode of Martin. And she's pushing the baby out. I caught him. Yeah. How many babies have you helped so far? Or how long have you been doing this? Like, what's the background?
So I've been working as a doula for 3 years.
Okay.
And last week, I can't even remember. I'm at baby 86 now.
Oh, wow.
Dang.
Congrats.
So I stay busy.
That's booming. Booked and busy, honey.
Right.
I've been busy. Yeah, so 3 years working as a doula, but prior to working as a doula, I worked as a nurse in OBGYN offices. So much like where you go to get your pap smear every year, your prenatal care visits, that's the work that I did before working as a doula.
Cool. At least you're knowledgeable. Like, you're not just taking the course on, because
I didn't just
I really didn't know what
LinkedIn.com.
Once you gave us the topic, I was looking into stuff once I got on that Twitter subject, and then I started seeing so many people say, oh my God, I'm studying to be a doula. And then I'm looking to see how long the classes are. I'm like, I could be a doula.
Anybody can be a doula.
Which I didn't know.
So here's the thing about the work, right? Doula work is traditional work. Now we refer to it as doulas, and everybody it's really trending.
Right.
This term doula. But if we go way back, the role of the women in the family was to take care of whoever was pregnant, right? And then even after she had the baby, those women stayed around. They were making sure that she was physically taken care of. They were also helping out with the household,
right,
and other siblings and all of that. And so we're in a time where people are not living as close to their families anymore, or there's just so much going on.
Yeah. And you got 87 families?
I have.
Golly. Yeah. So I want to ask a quick question. So when you were working in the office, did you see, because you always hear about like Black women are dying at higher rates due to birth issues and whatnot. So did you see like the physicians neglecting the Black women when they were talking about certain things, or just like kind of going, oh, she'll be okay, she's just tripping, or being extra?
Yeah. So what I'll say to that is, wherever I tended to work with really good physicians.
Okay, good.
So I did not see that with the people that I worked with.
Okay.
But I have seen it. We had patients that come to us from other physicians that, they're like, this is my fourth physician because the other three didn't want to listen to me. Or, they come to this doctor and then finally find out what's been going on with them for the last 5 years, that doctors have not been paying attention to them, right? in hospitals, that's just talking about like doctors' offices, but in hospitals, what we know whenever, and this is outside of pregnancy, so even just regular health, is that Black women are not believed a lot of times. It's almost like they don't believe that we're competent enough to know enough about ourselves, right? To give good information for them. And they also don't believe our pain.
I read that.
Right.
Because they think we're just superhuman and can take all the pain.
Right. Something.
Y'all been getting whipped for all these years. Push this baby out.
What's one more kid?
Right.
You damn horse.
And
For real. Shit.
And so that's the other role that doulas serve, especially in those hospital environments, is being an advocate, making sure that our clients' voices are heard.
Right.
If she asks a question and that medical provider dismisses it, my job is to come in and say, hey, she asked you a question. I don't think you answered. I didn't hear the answer. Can you help us out?
Oh,
Right?
okay.
So that's
Ooh, I seen a
how
little
doulas-
nice nasty coming. I like that.
Always.
I like
She
that.
heard it.
But yeah, that's our role, is to also be an advocate for, first, to help our families know how to advocate for themselves, right?
Right.
And that comes in all of that education that happens while they're pregnant. So they learn to advocate for themselves, but we're there to back them up.
Okay. So I got a question that I saw on Instagram.
What you see on Instagram?
So I was scrolling down my timeline, right? And like I follow a lot of like natural things and whatnot. And I thought this person was eating some big ass steak, and I looked closer and it was a placenta. So I didn't know. I asked the question, are you supposed to pan sear it, put some Old Bay seasoning on it? And they said, no, I'm dead. They were like, nah, you just freeze it or you put it in your smoothie. And I just almost threw the fuck. Have you seen that before?
Yeah. So there's several different ways that people actually might handle their placentas after they give birth.
Okay.
Right? So I don't know if you've ever seen an animal give birth.
Yeah.
Right. You've seen an animal give birth. The babies all come, and that animal will
Eats
turn
it.
right around and eat that placenta almost immediately.
Yep.
Right. And so what is happening is they're
You never seen a dog be born? And
I see the dog eat the puppy shit too. Like I just not saying our placenta. I'm just saying that's just
That's the shit. Is the placenta? They tear it up. They eat it.
So the thing is, the placenta still has a lot of nutrients. It has a lot of iron. It still has a lot of hormones
You about
in
to
it.
throw up for real.
And so the idea behind whether you're eating the placenta or having it encapsulated into pills, which is what I know
Okay.
most people do that. Most people are getting their placenta encapsulated. But the idea is that it's replacing those nutrients and replacing that iron and those hormones that were lost, right, in giving birth.
So do you eat the whole thing?
So in encapsulation, what happens is it's almost like it's the same process as beef jerky.
Yeah.
So
that's pretty good.
They steam it a little bit and
They
then they
season it?
dehydrate it. They do season it.
Okay.
Some doulas will put they might add a little lemon to it, put some herbs in it. And so they dehydrate it, crush it into powder, and then put it in pills.
I do got a question. What's the difference between your period blood and a placenta?
The placenta is an organ.
Stop it.
Yeah,
The
that's like the
placenta's a whole
sac,
organ.
isn't it? That the babies.
Right. So what the placenta is, it's the way that nutrients, oxygen get to the baby from mom, and waste goes away from the baby. The placenta is a filter. So that's what's really impressive about the placenta, is that like for every baby gets their own, right?
Oh.
When you first become pregnant, that placenta starts to grow, attaches to the uterus, and that's what's connected to the umbilical cord.
I did not know.
Yeah.
That's why we needed you here.
So it's so it's an organ.
Now, another question, since we're talking about the umbilical cord, you know how you're saying back in the old days. So I try to, like, now that I'm older and I'm coming into my, I guess, wokeness or blackness or whatever, really trying to embrace it. I was reading that you should keep the placenta connected to the baby as long as possible.
For like
which is
what, till it
another
dries off?
reason, why you should have a home birth versus hospital, because they come straight in and ready to cut it off.
Yeah. So that's a lotus birth, which you're referring to, where the baby, the placenta, and the cord all stay attached until the cord naturally falls off from the the baby.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're going to do that, then you're not going to encapsulate or eat your placenta.
So you can't eat it after it dries off?
Because if you're going to prepare your placenta for consumption, then it needs to be it has to happen like in 72 hours.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so in a lotus birth, I don't know the time frame of that, but it's going to be longer than is good for the.
But either way, one is more healthy, I guess, for the baby, and one is more healthy for you.
Well, if you're breastfeeding, wouldn't it both be healthy for the baby?
I think of them all as options.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's
Not
just
one better
like
than the
it
other.
depends on what that mother or that family is deciding is important to them. Yeah, and then going with whatever option they find is best.
I just learned so much because I just knew they were just. I was like, "What's the difference from me just catching a cup and drinking?" Ooh,
No.
That's what I thought.
Taking them back like oysters? Hell no. She gonna be in the hospital with Tabasco sauce and lemons, shooting them back. Yuck. Hell no.
I'm sorry, y'all.
In reference to the video that you saw, that person was freezing pieces of their placenta because they were planning to use it to make a placenta smoothie. Right. So some people encapsulate, some people make a smoothie out of it. I don't know. I've heard that some people eat it. I've not seen that or heard of that happening.
Time out. Have you seen me and Toya's facial expressions while she explaining it?
Ugh. You know, I heard a lot of Louisiana women do some crazy things, and what's running through my head is
that's how you keep your man.
put your placenta.
Look, that's how you keep the family together. That's how you keep the family together. You put the
spaghetti.
Sprinkle a little of that placenta in his spaghetti, ladies. Forget the period. That's so 1989. Get with the times. Fry that man up some placenta for dinner.
Like a liver.
Oh my God. Woo. Okay.
So I guess on the opposite side of that, because I was hearing you say that, you know, it makes sense to have a doula, because a lot of us women are working women, where it's not like we're stay-at-home moms to where we have the luxury of having the baby, having our mom come in with us. God forbid she doesn't get on our damn nerves, and
Lord.
we want her there for a month or two.
Look here, Devin.
And you know, have that close circle. I don't know if you remember when I asked you about something called a death doula. Have you heard of a death doula?
Yes.
So I was reading something as I was scrolling through, and it was talking about a death doula, but it kind of reminded me a little bit about what you said. Somebody said, personally, I think each hospital could benefit from having a death doula, someone to sit with families and explain the process and what to expect so that there is understanding. I think it's especially important in the time of this Delta wave. We also need to change our views around death, the time to discuss, you know, goals of care and resuscitation, blah, blah, blah. And somebody else chimed in and said, I've sat with people who are at the end of their lives and talked with their families. Somebody had a No One Dies Alone program, which pairs doulas with people who do not have family or friends to sit with them. And that's a totally rewarding role. And I can only imagine, you know, maybe a mom that's like 20 years old, abandoned by the baby daddy, no family, and she's just there. So like, it would be great to have people like you that advocate for them, because that's kind of really just fucked up. Like, it's so sad.
I have a question to piggyback off that. So say the dad is in the picture, right? Do you ever, I can only just go off of just thinking about like movies and stuff, but does the dad go, why is she always in our business? She always here at the house. Does she think she,
do dads understand the role?
Not really. So, you know, a lot of times dads are coming into that as I'm meeting them,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
So a lot of them are confused about what exactly is the doula. And sometimes some men are even feeling like, well, is she gonna come push me out the way? Because I'm supposed to be there to support
That's
you,
what I'm
right?
Yeah.
But what I tell people is that I think of myself as the doula for the family.
Okay.
Right? It's not, I mean, she's the star of the show because she's the one having the baby, right? But dad needs that education just as much because he's got to advocate for her.
Right.
True.
He's the one that's at the house with her every day, and he sees what she's eating. He sees what she's going through. He sees when there's a change, right? And so it's all about being a team and not anybody getting pushed out of the way. I'll say that for the few, only a few, a lot of the men or a lot of the families that come to me, the men are on board. They're like, hey, whatever she needs,
I bet
she's got, I'm for it, right?
Right.
There are some men that are like, and I get it, because men are usually the ones, you know, in charge of the finances a lot of times in a lot of families. And so a lot of dads are just like, We paying for what? You want a babysitter at your birth? Like,
hell
right?
yes.
Shit. And I think that, I don't think it's I think it's a valid question for people who don't understand.
Because that's what I thought. I was like, the dad can't watch the kids? I ain't know.
Right.
Well, when you think about the baby crying every freaking, oh my God, I'm not even, keep going, girl.
No, but what we want is for him to have that same information. We want him to know what the options are. We want him to be a part of the plan as well. Mm-hmm. Because as long as everybody understands what she wants and what she needs, then we're all working toward that same thing.
Right.
Yeah.
So now crazy. Have you had any crazy situations like that are just like, I can't believe this just happened? Like that made you question your profession?
With the birth?
Yes.
Or with people?
With period.
In general, surrounding doulaism. Is that a thing?
The doula Oblemgada.
I can't think of anything too crazy. I think the craziest things that happen are when babies come a lot faster than we're anticipating. And that's just, we don't know who it's going to happen for. I would say probably the craziest incidents is that I had a family, they lived on the north side of Houston or north of Houston. Their birth center was in Pasadena, which is south.
Why?
Right? So we're driving, hightailing it, trying to get to her birth. And you want to know where she had her baby?
Oh my God.
Right
on
by
45.
the Ferris wheel on 45.
Wow.
Wow.
We're like flying. I'm just flying behind them. And the next thing I know, he slams on his brakes. I slammed on my brakes. They started veering to the right. And then he called and was like, she just had the baby. And I was like, keep driving.
When the baby is dedicated to being a north side baby. That is crazy. He said, don't take me across this line. Not one more second. I'm coming.
At the Ferris
Why would
wheel.
somebody try? This is off topic. Okay, if y'all don't live in Houston.
Because the thing is, for first-time moms, most first-time moms are going to be in labor for about 15 to 20 hours.
Okay.
Right? And so she had been in labor and she had been going and going and going for a while. It kept starting, stopping. And so we just don't anticipate most babies to like, boom, I'm here.
Oh.
Yeah.
But I'm Pasadena.
It's a ways.
Okay. All right. So then I guess the only last question I had, because I had, so many random questions about a doula. So when people are like, we've noticed a trend like millennials are having kids more in their 30s now and beyond. Mm-hmm. So like, is it more difficult? Because I hear it's a young woman's sport. So it's like, when you're in your 20s, that's your prime age, but 30s is hard. Like, so do you see, like, is it more difficult? Like, do you see more complications? Like, is it, or is it just people just talking?
What we know
because we're tired
is that women are born with a finite number of eggs, right? So whatever we're born with is what's there, and we cycle through those for our entire lives, right? And so at some point, our eggs, and that's usually in our mid 30s, right? So in our mid 30s is where the eggs go bad.
Yeah.
They expire.
That breast
time
milk
to
done
throw
turned
them
into
away.
powder.
And so
I'm sorry.
But yes, so the number of eggs that are going to be good eggs that will turn into a baby, right, are not as plentiful as they were in your younger years. So that's why you hear a lot of people who are in their mid 30s or older having to use some type of assistance, whether that assistance is, IVF assistance or medically getting some type of assistance for conceiving babies. But yeah, so that's what makes it harder. Is that how many eggs do we have left and how good are they going to be?
Okay, so sorry. Okay, I got more questions. So you remember so she's also a Texas Southern alumni. So you remember there was one year on campus. It was like some group, they were coming out advocating for Black women. They said more Black women that are educated are less likely to be able to conceive. I guess because we like wait so long, cause like getting our degrees and like starting our careers and stuff like that. Do you see that a lot? Like, is that true?
I was just about to talk about a movie about that.
Ask me, what was the...
So it's like they said it's harder for Black women who are educated and professional to have kids because we always wait till our 30s after we've completed school, we've started our careers, and, we've had a Heaux Bag summer.
I think that's an in general conversation, though. I don't think that's specific to Black women. I think that is most women
Period.
who are in their mid-30s and older are going to have a harder time.
Okay.
I think where that conversation gets conflated is that at the time that we were at TSU, there was a lot of talk in the news about Black women not getting married and not being right. And so like both of those conversations were happening at the same time. But I don't believe it to be any harder for Black women in their 30s than it is for other groups of women.
Okay. Oh, cool.
There was a movie and it had Morris Chestnut in it. Morris Chestnut. And him and his wife were trying. They could not have a baby. And then they ended up choosing this one girl to hold the baby. And she ended up being freaking psycho. They let her live with them and everything. She ended up loving Morris Chestnut and had the baby and was trying to steal the baby. Ever since I saw that movie, I was like, I don't think that,
happen on that movie that came out on Hulu the last, like, it's like Little House of Flies or Flies.
Oh, I don't know.
It's like Little House Fires. The girl was on the run because she was a surrogate, and then she ended up saying her brother was like, "That's your baby, you should keep it." So she took the baby, went ghost.
And then according to the law, they can do that, right?
I know who you're talking about. Yes, because until that baby is actually handed over, that baby, yes. I mean, there's a whole legal, I don't know what the
But that's fucked up because you still got to pay that person to hold the baby. Generally, they're probably going to be giving them whatever they want because you want to make sure.
Covering everything. Yeah. They're paying for the prenatal care. They're paying for food, transportation, all sorts of stuff. Yeah.
And then you run off on the plug.
And you can change your mind at any minute and be like, never mind. I think I'm going to keep the baby.
Yes, with Kerry Washington.
Yes, when she stole the baby.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Oh, hell no. She would have to get shot.
No, don't say that.
Nothing against women, that can't have babies because their eggs have expired. But I don't think that's the role I'm going to go. And also, I don't think I can ever adopt either because I feel like a kid always want to know who their mama is. And that's going to hurt my feelings. You 16, you're like, you're not my mama. I want to know who my real mom is.
But there are a lot of women, and I've worked with women who decide to be surrogates, and so
I think I could be
people volunteer to get pregnant.
Well, that's what this. Yeah,
I could be one.
So like sometimes these women are women that have like they've had their children and they're done having their own children, but they've met people or they know people or they just want to be like a volunteer for other families that have been trying and have been having a hard time.
They get paid.
They do get paid.
I looked that up.
But then your body isn't yours because I remember something about like Kim and Kanye were calling the lady. They're like, you need to eat this and you need to eat that. And it was,
well, if you think about it,
it was described as like slavery though.
Sometimes the people who are going to receive the baby, I can't think of what they're called right now.
The parents.
But they can be very hard on the surrogate mother about their baby because especially if this is like a baby that's been where this couple, it's that couple's sperm and that couple's egg that have fertilized the baby. So then the surrogate is truly just a carrier. She's not biologically this child's mother. And so I've taken care of a surrogate mother who like was having a really hard time with a family that was just being super demanding and trying to force her diet and trying to force like how long it was ridiculous.
But the doctors do give moms a diet though. So I kind of understand it. Like, don't be ridiculous about it. But even when I was pregnant, you do get a long list of shit you ain't supposed to eat.
Yeah, but they want her to do stuff that she don't do. Like drinking wheatgrass and stuff.
Oh yeah,
it's like that's no.
You need to have your third shot by 3 p.m.
Look, hold on, are niggas too woke? Damn, God, you gotta pray to the east. I'm tired. Shit, just push this baby
Go
out.
stand to the sun for 17 and 30 seconds. 17 minutes, 30 seconds. Look at it.
Yeah, no. Even when I decided to start breastfeeding with my daughter, I didn't know that there was a whole list of shit I couldn't eat either. I was like, damn, some of my favorite shit I couldn't eat.
Dang. Ooh, well. Next question.
It's a lot. Pregnancy is a lot.
So do you deal with like counseling? And I think we're wrapping up on time, but do you deal with couples who have tried and they keep having miscarriages and like they're just like grieving that they can't get pregnant? Because we hear about that a lot. Like couples try and they can't. Like, do you help families out like that?
So I have not. I have had families that have come to me and miscarried or lost a baby like in term. And so I wouldn't say that I counsel because I'm not licensed and it's not my, it's not my forte, but I help folks get through, I think, and I make sure that they have the resources that they need to get the counseling that they need, right? There are also doulas that work with fertility. So they're working with women who early, like well before they become pregnant, or those who are planning to become pregnant, who will work with those women and say, like, this is what your diet should look like. This is the stuff that you should be doing, right, to increase your chances of fertility. I also want to go back to death doulas. There are an array of doulas, right? I work primarily as a birth doula. There are postpartum doulas, which are those doulas who are going to be with the family after the fact. So the story that you shared where that doula was staying with them for 10 hours a day, 3 days a week, that's a postpartum doula. Her role is to come into the house and help out around the house, whether it's helping out with house chores, making sure mom is getting her rest, that she's eating well, right? Sleeping, all of those things. Earlier today, when I recorded the Doing Motherhood podcast, I had my own Reiki counselor on, but she's also a death doula.
Oh, what?
Reiki
counselor.
What is that?
Reiki is like energy work.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I need to meet her. I'm all about the
Just make sure you check into
vibes.
the episode.
Oh, absolutely.
She'll tell you all about it. But she also works as a death doula.
Okay.
So she's one of those people who families hire her to come in and help them prepare.
I've been looking into that.
Yeah.
Toya would be amazing at that, actually. Like, if you wanted to do that, because she has hospice, like, in her background, and, like, she's good at talking to people, so I think that'd be something.
I don't think I'm good at consoling people. I'm like, here. I got to get better at that.
Look, shit happens, sis.
Right. Put your big girl panties on.
I think a lot of the hospice nurses that I've known over the years, like, none of them are those kind of people.
I think because we become kind of numb to death, so it's like, oh, another one. Well,
yeah,
can't catch them all. No offense, but
this is
mom was 108.
Hey, again, y'all remember that on Talladega Nights? My grandma's turning 88. What should I get her? A casket? I'm sorry.
Preferably satin.
So anyway,
what is your whole tip?
Wait, do you know we do a tip called a hoe tip at the end of every episode? So would you have
about the hoe tip?
So whatever advice, like a tip of the day that you would give to our listeners.
Gotcha. First of all, hire a doula, especially if you're a Black woman. We talked a little bit about the maternal. So we're in a maternal health crisis in the United States, whether people realize that or not. Of all developed nations, the U.S. is dead last. Okay, we're paying the most for healthcare, and we're getting the worst.
That sounds about right.
And so Black women are faring the worst at that. So Black women are 3 to 4 times more likely to die of some sort of pregnancy complication than our white counterparts. And a lot of that, most of that is preventable. And so when we talk about doulas coming into the hospital with you to be an advocate, that's what our work is about. Making sure that these families are not left alone, that they're not being disregarded, and that they're truly receiving 100% optimal care. So my whole tip is hire a doula.
Y'all heard it first. and buy Black.
Right.
Hey, every time. Because
who knows you better than us, really? I always try to get a Black doctor. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, who's really comfortable enough to step up? And that's not to say that there are not white, I know some amazing white doulas who absolutely would. But where was she trained? What does she feel comfortable standing up to white supremacy?
Right.
Because at the end of the day, that's what
and she probably won't even notice. Like, we notice all the like passive aggressive stuff because we're used to it. But like they probably are like, she didn't mean it like that. And they're like, go take a seat, Becky.
Right.
Karen, whatever they call y'all these days.
Or she's doing the same thing that the doctors are doing, deciding that she knows better for you and talking over you and not believing you. And so my thing is that, Black women, Black families need to hire Black doctors. I got 2 hoe tips.
Go ahead.
My other hoe tip is, even if you are not pregnant, I firmly believe Black people should always be buddied up, doubled up at all doctor's appointments, at all hospitalizations. None of us should be walking into those spaces alone.
I love that. Well, dang, I can't really top that.
I got a whole tip.
Go ahead.
Wrap it up. Avoid all of this. Wrap it up. Drop smite.
damn, my only one was gonna be like, y'all really eating these placentas? Like, it was a whole question. Like, and on that note, bye.